many, I mean, there's a ton. Dude, it's 17 new emails just this morning, and these people are sharing intimate details about their testimony journeys.
Dude, we got to get some of these people on, man. Like,
No,
you
sure.
I got the car, I'm in the driver's seat. I pick you up, but there's only room for me.
The following is an episode of Ward Radio and does not represent the thoughts or the opinions of KHTS, its owners, or any of its affiliates, nor does it represent the official opinion of the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints. With that said, sit back, relax, and enjoy the program.
Can you feel it? Can you feel it? I bring the energy.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to Ward Radio. I'm your host, Cardinellis, and today I'm joined in the studio by Jonah Barnes, who has brought us a touching email that he has received as your ward librarian, but you also wear a second hat as ward clerk. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you going to share what's going on, man? What happened?
Yes, we're doubling up callings here in the wigwam.
It's a tough life. Jack of all trades, master of none.
That's
you can
right.
receive emails successfully.
Jack of all trades, master of none, and just a reminder, master of none. So there's two images in the Discord. Actually, there's one right before this one, which is I just popped them in the two most recent ones.
Okay, cool.
This was somebody who, on a recent live stream, we were talking about the widow's mite, and you had dug around in Egypt and found some widow's mites and Roman bruta coins and things.
Okay.
And we were giving them away on the live stream to super chatters. And this is somebody who received one. So first do the double column. That's the one.
Okay, right here.
And I redacted the name out here, but this is a very nice email that this viewer sent.
Okay, well, what'd they say? He, she, brother, sister?
She said, hey, Cardin. And then I've redacted some personal info.
Okay, cool.
Seriously, thanks for creating Ward Radio. You have no idea how much it means to people like me. This year has been the roughest of my life. I lost 9 family members and close friends.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, including my mother, my father-in-law, my sister, etc. I had to sell my mother's house that I lived in. I know. I had to sell my mother's house that I lived in for over 60 years. I felt like I lost so much this year, but I knew there was a place where I could go to be spiritually lifted and then laugh my head off the next minute. Laughter? What is she talking about? What is she talking about? This is a serious testimony building channel. This is fair LDS.
I was thinking
we don't tell jokes here.
I was thinking she was about to say church, but she's saying Ward Radio. Okay, cool. See, now I get your joke. All right. Okay, first off, wow, that's super touching if she's saying this, and I see where this is going, but oh my gosh, this poor woman. Keep going. Keep going.
Sounds rough. But I knew there was a place that I could go to be spiritually lifted and to laugh my head off the next minute. I've seen every one of your videos at least thrice. She has watched JosephSmith Killed All the Werewolves 3 times, people. 3 times.
Whoa. I don't know whether to be thankful to this woman or feel sorry for her.
Worried.
That she has watched everything me and Kwaku have talked about, every heinous verbal crime I have committed.
She knows where Tartaria is.
And Lemuria is. Okay, well,
That's
keep
right.
going. Keep going.
She says, you and your crew are better than all the antidepressants in the world. And that's also very true. By the way, and this is the coolest part of this email, the widow's mite isn't for me. It's for my best friend who's having a big surgery next month. He gives so much of his time to our ward. He says it's because he has so little money to contribute. He pays tithing, and then he pays even more with service. I thought this would be a sweet reminder of his importance to us. Thanks again for all the uplifting in a very dark world. So after all this sweet person goes through, she's going to take that widow's mite and give it to her friend. I thought that was just the sweetest thing in the
what's
world.
her friend? Tell me more about her friend.
Okay, So then we got
to hook this friend up.
Yeah, so we followed up and we said, as in
you followed.
I followed up. I said, "This is so kind." The ward clerk followed up and said, "This is so kind of you. Would it be all right if we were to share this?" And so she sent us some additional details.
Oh, okay. Is that the other thing that's in the Discord?
Yeah, and I redacted out.
I'm pulling it up.
I redacted out a lot of it. And if you want, I can share more of it here. So she says, wow, I can't think of a
Dude, I want the whole 9 yards. This girl's like,
I just want to be so sensitive to these sweet people. But she says, wow, I can't think of a bigger honor than to have this brother's example shared on a cup of Cardin. You're also amazing and show the gospel is full of joy, not the high demanding dread the Exmos would have us believe. Yes. That's exactly it. Then she goes on to tell about this friend, and I this part I'll just kind of read here. He was actually a missionary sent to my ward. His dad died when he was a small kid. He sold everything he had to serve a mission. He quietly taught the gospel and then showed an example of it by mowing people's lawns, washing dishes whenever he saw the need. He did it. And after his mission, he moved back to California so he could go to school. We offered him a place to stay. 11 days after he moved in, I got very ill, couldn't take care of my small kids. He went to school and nannied my kids until I got better. And that was 4 years. He's always the first person to answer the phone and to give a blessing in the middle of the night and the last person to leave an activity to make sure everything is picked up and everyone is safely in their cars. He says that he does it because the kitchen gives him leftover cookies, but I know better. He worries because he earns so little money that he worries that his tithing is not enough. So he counts his service as a tithe also. Like many Saturday mornings, getting up early to tutor the teenagers on how to get higher SAT scores. I'm sorry for going on, but I think it shows more Christ-like love of so many, and it's contagious. And that's the guy that she's going to give the widow's mite to. Thank you so much for all you do to build the kingdom.
Do we have another one?
Well, actually we did.
There's one left over from yesterday. Do we get everybody's?
I think so, yeah. So
because I still have the stack of all of it.
This could go to this.
We got the stack of all the other ones that we got to mail out today. We're going to be a day late on these. Look at this stack. That was crazy, man.
Yeah, it was a lot.
No, I found one more in the sack. Can we send him another?
Let's send him another.
Do you have his info or what?
Well, we have her info. We can send it to her and have her.
Yeah, because apparently.
Well, she says she's going to give it to. She's going to give hers to him.
Because this overachiever Mormon cat lives with her, right, and has helped nanny the kids. You know, whatever it is, look, it's on you to find him.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying. We'll get it to you, all right. But oh, that's so beautiful.
It's just so sweet. She says, thank you for all you do. She says she worries about your health. Carlton.
Oh, well, why thank you.
This is just the sweetest woman. You have amazing
sister,
ideas.
Let's call her what, Williams? Thank you, Sister Williams.
Sister Williams.
You know,
you have amazing ideas and endless energy. You're in my prayers all the time. I worry about the fact that you all need guarding in order to bring us Ward Radio. Hence, we're redacting some of your information.
Yeah.
There's psychos out there. I'm grateful you guys are so brave. You're also in my prayers. Your work in ministry means so much to so many. Thank you for the laughs and reminders of the joy the gospel brings to our lives. There are millions of people around the world like this guy. And like this sweet woman who just serve
just
in their
unsung
local place.
heroes,
Unsung heroes. Yep.
In fact, I'm writing that. Yesterday, I was using this. I love that all of my stuff is still on my desk. We left precipitously, you know? So I'm going to write this one. I don't know this brother's name, but I am writing unsung hero. And then he gets his, it's actually, remember, it's not the widow's mite. It's the Roman widow's mite sized bronze coin. You know, there's a difference between the two, but
it's 2,000 years old.
The colloquialism is widow's mite. So you know what, unsung hero, way to be an overachiever, man. And the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints is true because we haven't broken it yet. And for every bonehead that is doing something stupid, fortunately, there's a guy like you that's picking up the slack. Yep. You know what I'm saying?
Making up for schlubs like us.
And I wish I could give you more than just the one extra. Gosh, we got anything else around here? You know what I'm saying? Then maybe we'll give him a copy of Randall Johnson's book. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
We're going to give you something. We're going to find something. Unsung hero.
We don't have anything here, people.
Yeah,
but
it's like, no, I got some books left over.
We'll find something.
We'll find something, you know? Right. So anyway, well, we already did find something, but we might find an extra something. That is wonderful. Does the email continue?
No, that's it. That's the end of our correspondence for now. So, but surely she'll see this episode and it's just a reminder. There are people out there. No, these people aren't famous, and we get to read these correspondences with people.
What's the email like? You monitor our email, and you do me a massive favor helping out with that. Do you get a lot of these? Is this like just the needle in the haystack?
Yeah, there's a lot. Let's see. I mean, yes, just from last night. This is the morning. This is just from last night. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 emails just since last night. And it's the morning. People sleep, people. What's wrong with you? Go to sleep.
You know what I'm saying? Although I've seen our YouTube analytics, people start tuning in between like 6 and 8 and they watch all the way until like 11 to midnight. Yeah, it's kind of wild. And I'll post a video sometimes, like a morning video at 11:45 at night because I'm about to go to bed after having edited, or even at like 1:30 in the morning. The past 3 or 4 nights I've been editing up until 1:30, 1:45, 2 a.m., right? And I'll post a video for like members only content, right? I will go to press the refresh button just to make sure that it posted properly. Already has 10 or 20 views.
Yeah.
Like within 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3, 1,000, 4, 1,000, 5. Like, and it's like, how are there 20 people up right now? I've seen my analytics. Like 99% of you guys are in U.S., America, Canada. I'd say 90% are in the United States and Canada.
Yeah.
You know, and only about half of you are within spitting distance of my time zone. Like there's people in like Florida where
every time zone
it's ungodly 3:30 a.m. or something just like heinous like that.
Yeah.
It's like, how did 10 people in 1,000, 2, 1,000, 3 already start watching this video?
Are you that responsive to General Conference? Are you that responsive to scripture reading time, people? You know, that as soon as the prophet, you're going writing it down, or you're sharing it, or you're tuning in, or whatever.
Hey, don't chastise my audience. That's funny. Okay, so I guess, you know, we can end it right there. But before you go, have you got any others that stick on the top of your mind that you can think of that you don't have to show us, you know, evidence right now, but like, what's it like curating our email list, man? What's the vibe? You got your ear to the railroad tracks. What are you listening to?
There's so many sweet people who tune in. The funnest thing, and you can also find this in our Discord, in the testimony meeting room in our Discord, but people will write and they'll just say, like, here's how I converted to the gospel, or here's how I came back to the church. A lot of people will say, here's how I came back. I lost my faith and I came back, or the impact that our channel has had on them. We got to start
interviewing these people.
And some of the stories are crazy. And you read it, it's almost like reading the scriptures.
What's one that stuck out to you? What's one of the stories that stuck out to you?
Let's see. There was one I was thinking of just the other day that I read.
Can you paraphrase it? You don't have to actually have the exact email or anything like that, you know, but can you remember the gist of the story?
Yeah. Okay. So just like this morning I was reading this guy, he grows up in the church and he goes on his mission, and then he finds anti-Mormon stuff online, and he kind of falls away. He doesn't completely redact his membership or whatever. And then he
goes inactive. Yeah. Okay.
He goes pretty much inactive. He says, I'm just living a lie, because his whole family's so active all around him. And his dad's in leadership and all these things. And he says, I just feel like I'm living a lie, and I didn't really know what to do. Then he starts watching Thoughtful Faith. He said he started watching Thoughtful Faith. And he watched a lot of anti-stuff too.
That's a cup of philosophical coffee in the morning.
That's strong philosophical coffee.
Cup of Jacob doesn't come as often as a cup of Carden does, but whoa.
Yeah. And he says so I start kind of slowly coming back, and he said he commented, he said the burden of telling his family, the burden of feeling like he was living a lie. He's like, now I don't feel like I'm living a lie. He's like, it just feels so good. I was agonizing for years, but how I was going to tell them, you know, that I've lost my faith. And he's like, and I'm just so glad that I never have to tell them that anymore.
So this was a commercial for Jacob. Great. Awesome. Thanks.
No. But he says he starts watching anti-stuff and then Thoughtful Faith. And he says he discovers our channel, and he says, now I feel good about and unembarrassed. It's great.
We need to contact this guy, and
there's a ton.
He needs to say that we are better than Jacob Hansen at Thoughtful Faith, better than Jacob Hansen at Thoughtful Faith, or I'm just going to block him, and he can just descend back into nihilism and inactivity for the crime of having, you know, watched somebody else's content first. No, totally just kidding.
There's just so many. I mean, there's a ton, dude. It's 17 new emails just this morning, and these people are sharing intimate details about their testimony journeys. Dude,
we got to get some of these people on, man. Like, hear the stories. I'd be really interested in hearing like what drove a lot of these people to come back, because I always have had a theory that everybody goes astray at some point in their life. Everybody. You know, whether it's kind of quiet inactivity or loud inactivity, or whether, you know, you're rage quitting online with a 15-minute Instagram post, you know what I'm saying? And then wondering why your friends aren't calling you 30 days later. Everybody goes somehow spiritually astray at some point in your life. The question is whether or not you harness it as a learning experience, or whether or not you let it beat you, whether you beat it or you let it beat you, right? So I don't judge people for having, you know, actually, no, I do judge them, and I look at them side eye, and then I make vague insinuations. But after I get it out of my system, then I don't judge them. You know what I'm saying? Then I don't judge them.
Yeah.
But all kidding aside, Everybody gets a mulligan. I feel like everybody is entitled to a mulligan. We're all humans. We all go through it, so I don't judge a guy for that, but I am intrigued. Like, I'm uninterested in why they went inactive, because 90% of the time it's straw mans that are super boring.
Yeah.
But
right,
but what got people back in the church is always really interesting. Like, the reasons they leave are wildly undiverse. It's just like that movie Beat the Devil with Gary Oldman that I showed you. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Where he comes in to James Brown. He's like, oh, you rock and roll types. You preach a cult of individuality, but at the end of the day, you're all the same with your lacking hairdos and your silly little boots.
They act like it's all unique, and it ends up being all exactly the same.
Exactly. So the reasons why people leave, I swear, there's like a top 5. There's like a top 10 that is really just top 3. Okay. And they're woefully core boring. They're woefully, there's straw men that have been debunked so many times. It's like, how emotional do you have to be to believe this factually false thing? Right. And so the reasons why they go inactive are super boring. But the reasons why they come back are oftentimes like
amazing.
You meet individuals like this guy that she's talking about who is like, oh, I just worried his tithing is enough. Okay, so first off, brother, your tithing's enough, dog. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Don't worry about that.
I hear these stories, bro, and I'm like, no, the church has plenty of money. And by the way, and that's not just me saying this. I'm not some prophet in the wild, all right? I've literally, like, one time we were going to be filming something. I can't remember with the Boy Scouts or whatever it was, but I actually had contracted a film crew of some Hollywood buddies, right? And it's traditional that you seek a film permit or anything like that. And we actually had a budget for it. You know what I'm saying? We had a budget for the film location of like $1,000 or something like that. Usually film location budgets are like $2,500 to $5,000. Big locations for a commercial, you might even get like 10 or 20. Okay. But anyway, I think we had like $1,000, right? And I remember I talked to Bishop. I said, hey, I know sometimes people are dicey about whether you can film in the chapel or not, but this is a good project, and they're wanting to film in a gymnasium, and it's so hard to get a public school gymnasium. Could we use? I think it was me. I can't remember if it was a 501c3 project or not, how they'd exactly codified it in the tax code. But anyway, I'd asked the bishop, could we film in the gymnasium? And he was like, oh, okay, that's fine. When I explained to him the nature of the project, and he said, oh, okay, that's fine. I said, okay, well, who do we write the check out to? And he literally looks at me, he's like, oh, dude, the church doesn't need our money, bro. Like, just go donate it to the Boy Scouts or something. And I was just like, oh, all right, dog. You know what I'm saying? So I think we donated to the Boy Scouts, if I'm not mistaken,
Paperwork's easier.
Yeah, for real. Paperwork's easier. So, so first off, dog, overachiever, unsung hero that like is like, I don't know if my tithing's enough, so I gotta set up chairs.
Enough.
Like it's enough, and you're just getting additional blessings for all of the service that you render to others. And that's beautiful, man, because you meet these characters in everybody's journey back to the church. Do you remember that that radio program we did with the young man who it was called the Data of Disbelief and Doubt, and it was the data-driven podcast. Alejandro, what was his name? Last name. Come on, it's such a cool cat.
What was his last name?
Yeah, I don't remember his last name, but he was with the BYU psychology department, and they'd released the data how 40% of people come back.
Yes,
and
a ton of people come back.
Yeah, it was crazy. And then the number one thing that got them back into the church was a personal experience with somebody that had, done something amazing and rendered some kind of service. And like, the reasons why they leave are so woefully boring because they always are these like generic, like forced to be like, I want to be able to tell that story too. They'll mold their story. Oh yeah, yes. I was mistreated in that exact same way as you as well. But the ways they come back are so diverse, and you meet these characters where I didn't know there was so many ways to go out of your way and minister to the one that has left the 90 and 9, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
As I find in these stories. So, I was moved. I was touched. We're going to give Unsung Hero one of the Roman widow's mite-sized coins.
What's ironic is that the same, like, curiosity, that same drive to study church history and all these things that leads them out of the church often will lead them back to it. I mean,
if they're intellectually honest,
if they're honest, yeah. Yes. Like you were saying the other day with Heisenberg, the first drink you take of the natural world, you think there's no God, but once you get to the bottom of the glass, you realize God's behind it all. and this is probably why it seems boring to us. The reasons that people leave is because we've heard all those reasons too. We've been down that road too.
I want to make like an award for this cat. I don't know who he is, but you know how they have like the Nelson Mandela Award that they gave Russell M. Nelson, right? You know what I'm saying? We should make like the Unsung Hero Award and just dude, we should do that on the show. We should get some Unsung Hero Award. We're like, I don't know.
You can nominate. You can
nominate people.
Oh.
And we'll just be like, dude, we heard about your story. It'll be like the Real Mormon Stories podcast. You know what I'm saying?
I'm loving this.
We're doing it, dog.
I'm loving this.
So we're going to get the Unsung Heroes award going on. It might have to be something as simple as just a certificate. You know what I'm saying? In the beginning. But we should make it so that people can nominate an unsung hero, and they have to show proof of what that person is doing.
Wow. Or it should just be like a trophy pedestal with no trophy. And it'd be like, you unsung hero, you get an untrophy. Like, you don't get anything.
No, we want to hook them up. We want to give them some hardware. Like we'll work on making it like, I don't know, we'll get the same artist that chiseled the Grammys in order to make like the unsung hero
the Widow's
award.
Mites. The Widow's Mite's a great idea, right? Because that's what the unsung heroes are doing, is that they're just giving the little bit that they have in the place that they have it.
It's harder to manufacture 2,000-year-old coins, though. A trophy's a little bit easier.
Get back to Israel and get digging, Cardin. Come on.
It's like, let's be careful what we promise.
We're going to have to go back to Saudi Arabia with some trowels and buckets and bring back some.
Definitely not with trowels and muskets. Trowels and buckets, right? So, in fact, did we just invent a new phrase here? Trowels and buckets.
Trowels and buckets.
Yeah. So anyway, thank you so much for sharing. This was great. I mean, every time you come in and you have suggested topics and I read it, I'm like, touching email. What is that? And you deliver, bro.
And this is just the tip of an iceberg. There's hundreds and hundreds of these from marvelous people all over. We don't even know who they are, and we'll never know who they are. And they're just serving, and they're godly, and they're Christ-like, and they're an inspiration. So,
all right, boom shakalaka. Well, that was great. Please, guys, before you go, make sure that you like this video. If you haven't yet subscribed to our channel, let this video be the day that we earn your subscription. Also, somewhere around here, or here, and then somewhere around like here is going to be a new video that you can watch. Please check those out as well. And as always, for this and more, please check us out at wardradio.com.
How about the car I'm in the driver's seat? I pick you up, but there's only room for me. The only lane that I see is money green, about to pass you. Don't even try to compete. Nobody else that could do it like me. Make sure to sleep up.